Okay, well, I think I've found the problem with my car. Not a terribly serious problem, pain in the ass problem. I mean, it indicates that there's some wear. Chances are pretty good this engine was a rebuilt. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a rebuilt just before I bought the car. And the person that rebuilt it, I mean, I understand this thing changed hands a couple of times since the rebuild. And one guy was a broker, and he just offed it again. He just sold it. The other guy worked on it, couldn't get it to run, so he sold it to me. I got it running and on the road. But it wasn't like a performance build with new parts and all that stuff. It was basically a let's get this thing cleaned up and rerunning, and probably put some old parts left in it. In any case, there's my the gasket and the head cover. There you go. Up here, I've got rocker arms for the valves. That's the number 1 piston. This is the number 2. The inside ones are intakes. The outside ones are exhausts. Now, I checked the number 1. You move them to top dead center, and they seemed okay. And that was kind of funny because it sounded to me like the noise was coming from the front quadrant of the engine. And I didn't find anything wrong. There was a little bit of slack, which is normal, and everything seemed to be hunky-dory. Now, I rotated the second, the number 2 piston around to top dead center on the firing cylinder, so that theoretically the valves are supposed to be slack. It's supposed to be compressing for the fire, and there should be no pressure on the valves on that stroke. Now, watch this. This is the intake valve. Just a little bit of movement, you can hear it rocking back and forth. Right? This is the exhaust valve. Watch this. Lots of movement. That's not good. That's pushing that rocker on the rod into the hydraulic lifter, which I mean, that's probably a good 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch of movement, and that's way too much. That means that the hydraulic lifter is flat. So what I have to do is take off this whole assembly on top here, the rockers, pull the push rods out, grab that hydraulic lifter out of there, and it's a pain in the butt. I've got to fish down that hole and hook it out with a teeny little piece of wire or something, and it'll slide all the way out, all the way through the, and it's in the block. I mean, it's all the way down through these push rod tubes, all the way in there. I mean, that's where they sit. So I've got to drag them all the way through the push rod tubes, bring them all the way back up here, take it out, disassemble it, clean it, fill it back full of oil, and then compress it with a C-clamp and put the key back into it. There's a little circlip in it. Pain in the butt. You're talking a good couple of hours of farting around, and for this I lost 8 hours of work. But if I hadn't have done this, I could have done some serious damage to either the head or that valve, because it wasn't opening all the way. On the exhaust stroke, the valve could have heated up and burnt and then blown out through the exhaust, which would mean a head rebuild probably. Or worse, in the worst case scenario, the valve head burns off and falls into the cylinder and punches holes in my piston and cylinder accordingly. Not a fun thing to do. So I've got my work cut out for me. I'll give you a report in a little bit.